So I'd like to start off with, tell us a little bit about yourself. Why did you become a member, and what's your background? And give us a little background on you.
Okay, well, I grew up in a small town, and my grandfather was an elk, and I have really fond memories as a little girl. My grandma volunteered a lot, and I was always with my grandmother. So I hung out at the lodge with her, and we had, back then, members would have Christmas parties for the kids and family picnics. And I mean, I guess we still have those things, but when you're small, they seem so big.
Right.
So I had a history with the Elks, but then as an adult, a girlfriend of mine was a member in Hood River, Oregon, and they had an Oktoberfest. She's a German, and so they did a fundraiser, and I thought it was awesome. A bunch of girls and I went down there and dressed up and helped them out. And I was like, it was so much fun. I just thought, why don't we do this in Vancouver, where I live? Like, why am I driving all the way over here? We could do this. And I also was a Catholic school mom, and we had a big sausage fest every year. For 42 years, they had this huge public event, and the priest kind of killed it. And I was like, this could replace Sausage Fest, Oktoberfest. And so that really motivated me. That motivated me to become event chair, I guess.
Okay.
But that is also why I joined the Elks. But I jumped right in, and then I had to slow my roll a little bit and figure out like what things really were. And so year 2 is when I threw our first Oktoberfest.
Gotcha. Well, no, I mean, I find that's what happens. You have a lot of community-minded people who love to get involved. And we too have, at my lodge, number 2121, we have a lot of folks who want to jump in with both feet. And that's great. But at the same time, I always tell everybody, for brand new members coming in, you may want to slow your roll a little bit. The idea is that kind of get your feet wet, maybe join an event committee or something, for whether it's an Oktoberfest or a holiday thing or whatever. See how it all runs first, and then come up with your own ideas. Because I think sometimes they jump in too fast. And then, the Elks has a lot of statutes and a lot of rules and a lot of things that they don't understand, that everything has to be, you've got to have audits, and you've got to have all your paperwork in order too. And sometimes that kind of catches people by surprise.
Yeah. Well, and I also think that like people say, oh, you're going to get burnt out, you need to slow down. And it's like, I never get burnt out by the work or the volunteering. But there is a big part of navigating this dysfunctional family that you've chosen. There's a lot of you really have to figure out how to navigate them to be successful in if you're going to run anything, really.
Well, it shouldn't be dysfunctional. I feel bad for some of the new members who come in with great ideas, and I like to call the Elks, at least my lodge, a work in progress. We are definitely a work in progress, and we need to kind of start being a little bit less dysfunctional, a little bit more accepting, and really allowing people to flourish and to move forward.
Our lodge is full of like type A women.
Oh,
we have quite a few, we really get things done, but we always want them our way. So it's kind of fun. It's fun though, because we have like minds, like we know how the moving parts should go. So that's kind of fun. I have been public relations for 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they didn't have public relations before. They didn't have a chairperson really.
Gotcha.
They kind of did, but not really. And so we've gone a long way to get out there since I joined.
Well, I guess the question is that why did you want to take on the public relations chair? That's a big one.
Well, I have a hard time saying no, but also I'm a graphic designer, and I'm in marketing and advertising. And
so am I.
Oh, yeah. Because I remember, when you were talking, I was like, oh, he does stuff like me. You're in marketing, yeah?
Yes.
But so of all the people in the lodge, it seemed like a natural fit for me, because I kind of know a little bit about the media. I definitely know how to make us branded and look better.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of made sense for me, and I wanted to get involved. So yeah, that just kind of happened. I didn't like the way things looked. I wanted more people to know about us, because I've always thought that it would be like your own little country club. You get all your friends to join, you do things together, and you have like a cheers place to hang out. And
That's what it is.
you just make it your own.
That's
And
what it
so
is.
that's
And
my vision.
you know what? It's taken me about 3 to 4 years, but that's what it's becoming.
Yeah.
You know, your local community folks coming in, there to have a good time, kind of your own little country club, as well as all rallying around and doing great things for veterans and the charity and the children and stuff like that. It's a win-win when it works right. And I think that's kind of where we are. When I first started and they asked me to take over the website, I looked at the website in, let's see, it was like 2016, I guess, 2017, something like that, when they asked me. Our website had not been updated since 1996.
Yeah.
So
that doesn't surprise me, actually.
So have you been able to work on social media and on the website for them, for your lodge?
Yeah, and actually we've won a few awards, and we've been mentioned in the magazine, which we never had been mentioned in the magazine, but our website was mentioned.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we won for the state, of course, public social media and the website. I've actually was Elk of the Year for the state of Washington. Well, first it was our lodge, then the district, then the state.
Beautiful.
And I just found out that last year for our lodge, I was Elk of the Year. Again, I didn't even know you could be that twice, but
okay.
But you can, apparently.
That's fantastic. Well, we got it. We got it this year. We were number one in our division for the state for Fremont for the website. That's awesome. That was exciting. That's the first time we've ever placed, and we got number one, and I was really proud of that, because everybody tried really, really hard to give me good content and try and move us forward, and being able to start allowing people to buy meals online, renew their dues online, do lifetime memberships online, do their registrations online. So have you been able to, now that you're PR chair, how many people do you have beneath you, or is it just you? I mean, do you have a team beneath you?
Well, I have a couple people who help me with social media, but mainly I have one other gal who is actually a IT for one of the school districts here.
Oh, nice.
And so she's kind of taken over the website, because I don't actually build websites. I actually twisted my boyfriend's arm. He can do that right brain, and I do the other brain. So I told him how I wanted it to look, and then he actually built it. But we did it in WordPress so that, God forbid, if anything happens to me, you guys can go in the back end. It's not a horribly,
No, we did the same thing. I built mine in WordPress too, because, it's the number one. It's the number one builder of websites. So you can find anybody who has a web background experience. If you tell them it's WordPress, they know at least somewhat how to work it.
We started doing volunteer signups online. It hasn't really caught on, but I think it will, because, being a mom, when we had to volunteer, we always signed up online, and then you can pick out whatever you want. You can see what's open. So I'm hoping we keep pushing that. Like, if you want to volunteer, go here. So then that way, if people do want to volunteer, they can go online and see what's available, instead of like, well, right. I wanted to volunteer for that one thing, but trying to get people used to that is like, come on, you can do it. You can do it.
Yeah. Well, we had a difficult time until COVID. People used to call in and RSVP for dinner.
Oh yeah. We still do that.
And that became really bad during the COVID lockdown, because we didn't know how many people we were going to get.
Right.
And then with the lockdown, we were having to do patio dining and stuff like that. So we made it kind of a thing that you got to go online, buy your tickets, in advance. So that way the cooks and the chefs and everybody there know how much food to buy, because we didn't know. And they know how much they're serving for the evening. Well, that went over like a brick in a glass house. That was tough. That was a tough 3 or 4 months. It was people were screaming bloody murder that they just wanted to call. And finally, the ER kind of stepped up and said, listen, we have to do it this way. It's so difficult because we're not open. We don't have a lodge. I mean, we're kind of, it's an eighth of a lodge right now of just our little patio area out there. And it's the best we can do. We're stuck under the Alameda County and state of California rules. So you're going to have to work with us.
Right.
That was difficult. They did not want to do that. And they screamed bloody murder that you go back the old way. But finally, it took about 3 to 4 months, but finally people started realizing how to do it or whatever. And now we're selling out meals well in advance, and we're not taxing the chefs, and and people are finding it easier. Yeah. And the other thing is that Alameda County does not allow us to take money. No cash.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they don't want cash. They don't want the COVID bug or whatever on a $5 bill to be passed from one person to the other. So they want plastic. So that's another thing that has been difficult for us, trying to get everybody to transition over to credit card and plastic. So it is what it is, the struggles of a lodge, right?
What are the things that, like, we have this huge backyard, and we have a huge building, and I just see so much potential of what it could be, like all the uses we could do in the backyard. We have bocce courts, but we don't use them. And like, I'd like to do like a couple of like frisbee, disc frisbee. Like we could do a couple holes. We couldn't do like a full course, but like just to practice or have big events back there. Oktoberfest was one of the first events that we held back there. Now I had to get a yard maintenance crew and committee together in order to pull that off. So now we have a yard maintenance committee. So that's good news. Before
why don't you guys use your bocce courts?
Why don't we use them? I don't know. Nobody has been going out in the backyard. And so Oktoberfest was like the first event we'd had back there, and people were starting to see the potential. That was in September. And then, March COVID. So there wasn't another one this September. So, we're just starting to get people to see the vision, and then it kind of shut down. So I think we can bring it back. But I really think what keeps me going is all the things that that it could be, that it's not yet, but it has all these potentials. And when I give tours, I throw out my ideas like, what if this was like this? And see, this is a cool area, and think of the things you could do in here, yada, yada, yada. But I really believe all those things I'm saying. And I just want everyone to like see it also, because I think it could be cool.
Well, that's what happened with ours. Our patio was pretty much disused for a long time. And then, when I got there, there was a gentleman who had said he had been trying to get bocce courts into our lodge for 3 years. He was even going to have it done for free at one point, and they still fought him tooth and nail. So finally, when I got in there, I had one of my designers kind of put something together. We finalized it up, got it in there. And it was tough, but once the new stuff started coming in, then people started to step up and go, wow, that's really beautiful. And then they would see the people out there and they go, well, let's put out chairs and tables. And then somebody else would say, well, it'd be really nice is umbrellas. Maybe we should put out umbrellas. And then somebody else would say, wow, if you're going to put all the chairs and tables, it's so nice out here now, maybe we should put outdoor lighting. And then we started so it seems to have a cascade effect.
Yeah.
Where once you get one thing done, then it cascades and more people start to see your vision, I guess, and then they want to help. So it's very difficult to try and market to, almost 3 cities away, because they're still, I guess, they're now part of us. So I just always thought that, is somebody really going to drive 3 cities away to come down on a daily basis? No.
Yeah.
But if I could get 5,000 to 10,000 homes around me,
right,
that would be really local. I think I would have a much better chance at getting them. So what I did is, have you ever heard of Nextdoor or Patch?
yeah,
The social media Nextdoor and Patch. I started telling people about the Elks Lodge on Nextdoor and on Patch for my local community, and that seems to have really kind of invigorated people and just showing them what we do.
Yeah, I haven't heard of Patch, but I've had success with Nextdoor. We've had a couple different people buy tickets to events and come to events off of Nextdoor. And then I also, whenever I see someone on Nextdoor, hey, I'm new to the area, what should I'm like, hey, the Elks, hey.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm looking to volunteer. Hey, the Elks is open.
Instant friends, right?
Yeah. And I was asked to be on the board for the local Red Cross, but it was just, I would be way too much. But anyways, what I did do is we are now having blood drives, which is great because they're open to the public and they're open during COVID. So we're getting, I feel like that's a good way to get people from outside in and do good works. And if they like to do good works, then they're in the right building and, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love the creativity. I love the creativity because we also started doing blood drives, but we can't do them at our lodge. We have a local American, the Red Cross? That's literally less than a half a mile from us.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's where we ask. And so we've asked a lot of our Elks members to please go down there and donate, during this tough time and stuff like that, which we have done. I don't have too many other questions but one of the things that kind of popped up when you were talking about the cheerleading and the rah-rah of the Elks, were you the type of person back before you became an Elks member that you were a little afraid about going up, doing any public speaking, any doing stuff like that? Or have you found that becoming an Elk and getting involved or whatever has helped you in public speaking and really kind of motivating people?
Well, I might have always been kind of a ham, so maybe. But I do notice that when I get up in front of the group, like I've done some presentations for PR, and I don't mind getting up, and I don't like to practice what I'm going to say. I like to just get up there and go for it.
Right.
But I have found a couple times I get a little more nervous than I thought I would. And I always end up going too fast, and I go fast anyways. So then it really is hard on some of our members because they're like, what did she just do? So I've had to try to teach myself to but when I get too excited, I can't keep it calm. But so I don't know.
I think that excitement translates.
Yeah.
And it translates forward. And I think I would prefer to talk to somebody who's excited about something other than talk to somebody who's like, yes, it's the greatest time. You should certainly come. Right. Nobody wants to chat with somebody who's an Eeyore,
right.
For the evening. So no, I think the excitement is awesome.
I also try to keep things really positive, even though I'm mad or it's not a positive thing, because I want to keep things positive. So if I got nobody to volunteer, I'll be like, well, we didn't have very many volunteers. I'd love to see more of you. And, instead of well, it was not successful or, just being there's a lot of negative Nellies. And I try not to do it. Whatever the message is, I try to keep it pretty positive.
Absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely.
Somebody
wants to have to stand up and be like, well, we didn't have as much food as we did last year. We only did 100, and I'm like, we did 100. We helped 100 people. Last year we helped 2. Maybe next year we can help that many more again. Let's not all be, because people donated. It doesn't matter if it wasn't enough this year. You still had somebody gave something. And if you weren't appreciative of that one thing, then that person's not going to do it again next year.
Well, you seem to be the type of person who always looks at the glass half full, not empty.
I try.
You're right. And unfortunately, I have found there are a lot of folks out there who are definitely glass half empty folks. And from what I can tell you've done an amazing job for your lodge. And if nobody else has thanked you, I want to thank you, even though just as an outside Elks member, because I think you are exactly what the Elks need to drive us forward. And certainly out of 2020,